Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sota stream. We are joined by Gone Puck Wild. In specific, we're joined by Lake and Brandon. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the Sota stream. How are you guys doing during this quarantine?
Doing very well. Thank you very much for having us and organizing this.
Yeah, no problem. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm just doing just fine, man.
Awesome.
Just hanging in there.
Awesome. So the very first question that Zooch and I would love to ask you guys is about Gone Puck Wild. How and when did it start? And I'd love to hear the answer there.
So Gone Puck Wild is a website run by the Fan-Sided network as a whole. And currently I'm the site expert. So essentially what I do is publish and write pieces myself about, the Minnesota Wild and whatnot. And Brandon and our other contributor who can't be here today, Jonathan Brill, will also, and I'll edit them, publish them, and put them and push them out, into the public. But currently I'm kind of like a glorified social media manager.
Well, I mean, you guys have so much great original content, and actually we'd love to kind of get right into that with you, Lake. You wrote a great article about first-line center options, and Minnesota Wild fans have kind of been wanting a first-line center for a very, very long time.
No doubt.
So I'd love to talk about some of your options. First of all, your unrestricted free agent options included Taylor Hall, Mikhail Granlund, Eric Holla, and I can't say that last dude's name, man, the Russian. I can't. I tried. There you go. Yes.
Yeah. So the free agent options that are available aren't incredibly deep because Taylor Hall is typically seen more as a winger than he is a center, and it's kind of the same thing with Granlund. I know a lot of people want him to come back just because he's our Minnesotan, kind of like Eric Hall, but he's slot more into a wing spot, which is really why we had to lose Jason Zucker, because we had to create that spot for Kirill Kaprizov. Yeah. And hopefully he signs soon, but obviously he needs an agent. So the UFA market might be, more shallow for the centers. If you wanted to sign someone like an Eric Holla, Vladislav, to push Joel Eriksson Ek into like a second line role.
Do you think that someone like Taylor Hall is going to be re-signing with the Coyotes, or do you think the Wild actually have a solid chance to land someone like him?
So I personally have no idea, especially just with how the cap is going to be affected with the current situation we're in. I think you might see a lot of superstars like a Pietrangelo or a Taylor Hall take shorter, less AAV values in order to kind of ride the wave out and let the cap rebound to something where they can get market value, where they're getting, 9 or 8 mil per year.
Zooch, you want to go over the restricted free agent options that he had in his article?
Some of the options you have here is Matt Barzal, Anthony Cirelli, and Max Domi. Personally, I really like Matt Barzal. I don't know what it would take to land him, but out of those three people, who would be your number one?
So obviously I would love Matt Barzal because that kid just looks like a absolute just game changer. He looks like he could drive a line by himself. But I think, especially, like I said earlier, with the current situation, you're not going to really see GMs really pick on one another with offer sheets or trades with the situations. So I think you're going to probably see him stick with the Islanders unless the Wild really woo them with a trade, something like a Parisi and a couple firsts for Barzal and maybe Ladd.
Okay, Brandon, in the article, Lake listed a bunch of trade options. I want you to grade how realistic some of these options are. Can you do that for me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so one of his trades options was the Minnesota Wild will receive Jack Eichel in exchange for Dumba Henches from St. Cloud State University and 2 first-round picks. Do you think that's realistic?
I'm gonna go about 70%.
Okay, that's not too bad. Not too bad.
Hey, Henches is one hell of a kid, so.
I think he's being nice. I think I way undervalued these trades.
Okay, what about this one, Brandon? I'd love to hear you grade this one. Okay, we're going to receive Jack Eichel again, but this time we're going to give away Brodin, 2 first-round picks, and Alexander Kovanov. How do you say that?
I think
Kovanov.
Kovanov, thank you. I'm horrible at names, so sorry,
guys.
guys.
In the WHL, I believe, isn't he?
Well, I could easily see throwing Brodin and the 2 first-round picks in there if that's what it was. Kovanov is someone that's we've looked at a lot with Minnesota Wild prospects and young players on Twitter and whatnot, and I think there might have to be something else that comes back from Buffalo to take for me to at least give up Kovanov.
You want to do that, Alexander? Barkov
Kovanov is definitely someone to look forward to down the road.
This
Yeah,
is a player
100%.
I really like, Alexander Barkov out of Florida. The trade is
Ooh.
receiving Alexander Barkov, and we're going to give up Jonas Brodin, Matt Robson, and Sam Hedges plus a first-round pick. Personally, I think that's enough to land him, but let's see what you guys think.
Well, Barkov would be one hell of an addition on the Wild for sure. I definitely support that, but you got to look at the assets you're sending the other direction as well. So, like I said, some of these prospects that would be given up, it would be hard for me to, release them. But some of the caliber players that would be coming back, like the Eichels, the Barkovs, players like that, it makes your head spin a little bit. If these things could be realistic. I mean, it's fun to speculate about.
Oh yeah, especially with us not being able to watch live sports, so there's not much to do but speculate and.
So the last trade that we want you to grade that Lake proposed, Brandon, is Dylan Larkin, right? So the Minnesota Wild would receive Dylan Larkin in exchange for Matt Dumba, a first and a fourth round pick. How realistic do you think that would be?
I think that could be realistic.
Yeah, same here. I like that one actually.
I'd like seeing Larkin on the Wild for sure.
Larkin.
I love Larkin on the Wild. I think Dumba also helps satisfy a need in Detroit as well.
What do you guys think? Speaking of Dumba, what do you guys kind of think is going on? Because 2 seasons ago, not including this season, right? He was when we got hurt in a fight, he was pretty much leading all defensemen in goals and points. This year, he really kind of has been hit or miss. What's the issue with Matthew Dumba lately?
So I think the book's kind of just out on him. I think a lot of realize that he's a scoring threat, especially from the blue line. And if you think about the Minnesota Wild's history of goal scorers, who comes to mind? Marian Gaborik, maybe Zach Parise, but that's really about it. And if Dumba's coming out and saying that he thinks he could score 30 in a year, I think teams are going to start defending for that. So I think, he put himself in a tough position to really perform.
Brandon, do you think that Dumba can get back to his last year's form ever?
I think so. I really like Dumba, I really do, and I do see him having a future in Minnesota. Side all the trade speculation you want, but I do think it would be in Minnesota's best interest to hold on to an asset like Dumba, and surrounding him as well with players like Brodin and as we've seen Carson Soucy come up this past season. I think keeping Dumba in the fold would be the right direction.
Okay, and to go one step further with that, with the emergence of Soucy and the stability with Hunt on the back end, out of these two defensemen, which two would you rather see go, Brodin or Dumba? Out of those two.
Well, that's the debate, I think, right? Because with the expansion draft coming up, you can only protect 3, and with certain stipulations on contracts, like with Suter, Spurgeon, and I think Suter and Spurgeon are the only ones actually that have no moves. You have to protect those guys. So you're exposing either Brodin or Dumba come expansion draft time. So the whole reason why I'm basically trading either Brodin or Dumba all the time is because we're going to lose them one way or another.
Which is a good point. Why not
Personally,
get some for him?
Exactly. Personally, I would rather keep Brodin because he's just a phenomenal skater. And by the end of his career, I think he will look like present day Ryan Suter.
Yep.
Who is having a career year.
Yep. I'm in the same boat as you. I think Dumba, the book's out on him. He's kind of a one-trick pony in the way. He doesn't play defense too well. He's very offensive, which is good. But with the defensive core we have, I think we'd be fine without him, especially landing a top-line center for him. I think pulling the trigger on Dumba would be the best choice.
Something I really want to talk to you guys about is Kevin Fiala's emergence, okay? In the last 18 games, he's put up 26 points, including 14 goals and 12 assists. I'm not saying he plays like Marian Gaborik, but the last stretch that he was playing, it felt like Marian Gaborik had the puck. It felt like he was always going to score. It felt like it was amazing. What do you guys think? Like, when did the flip switch in Fiala? Like, because he didn't start the year this way at all.
Braden actually wrote about this.
Yeah, I actually wrote an article about this, literally titled "The Emergence of Kevin Fiala." And, It's something where he just, as far as explaining him flipping a switch, I'm not really sure where it started. All of a sudden, we're just seeing him, scoring multi-point games, and he's playing like a fire got lit under him. and not only is he, helping himself out, he's helping the team out and going on the pace that he was going. I just thought it was unbelievable. It's like all of a sudden, like the trade happened where, Granlund got swapped for him and he came in, didn't really do a whole lot, didn't really look that great. It's like, okay, well, what the heck did we just do? And then all of a sudden this season is just like bam, bam, bam. All of a sudden it's like, wow, maybe we have a goal scorer again. And with some of the stuff that he was doing on the ice, the way that he played in the offensive zone and, there was one goal in particular that really, two of them actually impressed me. There was a goal against Detroit, which I think was a backhand goal. He scored. He just sniped it on Howard, and then the goal he scored against Nashville when he just filthy dangled around the defense, and it was just like, okay, we have something here that obviously was not before, and it's something that I'll continue to dive deeper on and break down over time.
Brandon, why do you have a Wisconsin jersey behind you? I think this needs to be asked.
I'm a Wisconsin Badgers fan. If you cut me open, part of me is bleeding, Cardinal red and white. So.
Are you from Wisconsin?
Yes.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Okay, I got you.
I've had to break up a fight or two between Brandon and Jonathan Brill, who's our other Gone Puck Wild contributor, who's a huge Gopher fan. It's ridiculous.
It's kind of similar here, too. We got a lot of people who go to the U of M at 10,000 takes, and then a lot of us went to UND. So it's kind of fun to, go back and forth with that. Another topic Zooch and I would love to talk to you guys about is the goaltender situation for the Minnesota Wild, because it has been pretty dicey throughout the year. Devin Dubnyk is not himself. I know he's been going through personal problems the whole entire year, which could definitely be a reason for his kind of his play. But Alex Stalock is definitely looking great. I kind of would love to hear your guys' thoughts on the Minnesota Wild's goaltender situation.
So this is something I started writing about today because I threw it out to the people who follow us. Who would you rather see, a new center or a new goalie? And center was the overwhelming answer. But I figured I would also write about the goalie just because people need stuff to read right now. Of course. Dubnyk, I don't know what exactly has happened since he's joined the Wild, but he's kind of since really the St. Louis Blues series where we lost 4-1, he's just not been the same goalie. And I don't know if the book's out or if he's just getting older or if he's just had bad back-to-back seasons. It doesn't look like he's playing up to form and could potentially be a buyout candidate in the upcoming season. Stalock, on the other hand, has been just absolutely nails the last 18 games that he started. For the last 25 games, he started 18 of them, and I think he's like 11-5-2, and just absolutely will battle for pucks and make sure that his team gets points in the standings and can catch up. And I think he's the reason why the Wild were able to catch up and eventually catch a playoff spot.
100%. I think it's between Alex Stalock and Kevin Fiala for MVP of this team right now. Alex Stalock has single-handedly brought us back in the net.
He was in net. He was in net when the Wild got their first win this season against Ottawa.
Yep.
Lake and Brandon, I'd love if you guys would both answer this. What are you guys' predictions? Will Devin Dubnyk be on the Minnesota roster next year?
I'm having a hard time seeing that.
Yes.
I think he does become a buyout candidate, and especially since I strongly believe that you can't shelf Kaapo Kähkönen in Iowa for much longer. I mean, granted, I know that what we've seen was a very, very small sample size, what he can do in the NHL, but the survey has been out, and I've talked to a few different people, and from what I've seen from Kaapo so far, he kind of looks like and reminds me of a young Pekka Rinne.
Well, he also, I'm not sure which month it was, but a recent month he did win AHL Goaltender of the Month as well. You can't keep him in the AHL for that much longer, especially with Dubnyk playing the way he is.
And if you look at the goaltending depth in Iowa as well, you got a goaltender in Matt Robson, who's a phenomenal goaltender as well. So, the hierarchy of the ladder goes, bring Kähkönen up. I'm not saying, keep it between Kähkönen and Stalock for the whole season, because goalies are different in that aspect, as they get the spotlight and their mentality is different. But it's definitely something worthwhile to bounce ideas off. And like I said, back to the point is I have a hard time seeing Devin Dubnyk on this roster. Come whenever next season starts. I know that's all up in the air right now, but I'm having a real tough time seeing that.
Same here. Lake, what do you think?
For every reason Quast just put out there, I 100% agree. Another thing I would also throw in, though, is that it's kind of hard to throw him into the deep end immediately. We kind of saw it with Darcy Kemper that it just didn't work out exactly how as we planned. So we might see something kind of similar to what the Rangers did with Gorgiev and Shesterkin and Lundqvist, that, you know, they carry 3 goaltenders, shelf one in the press box every game, and, you know, just rotate through, kind of balance it a little bit. Another thing we might see is Dubnyk depart, whether it be buyout, trade, something, and the Wild bring in someone like Robin Lehner, who's available right now, come free agency, who I personally be ecstatic if we got. The kid, like, I don't know why he's not getting a longer contract than he is. He carried the Sabres as far as they did, carried the Islanders really far, and made Chicago competitive, which, looking at that team, is just incredibly surprising.
I think we're going to go over one last topic before we get into trivia. I kind of want to know both of your opinions again on this. Is Eric Staal a Hall of Famer? Okay, now before you guys answer, let me read some stats from him. He's played 1,240 games in the NHL, which is tied for 96th of all time. He scored 436 goals, which is 71st of all time. He has 1,021 points, which is 84th of all time. He has 70 game-winning goals, which is top 60 of all time. 132 power play goals, which is top 85 of all time. He's been, a Stanley Cup champion, Olympic gold medalist, a 6-time All-Star, including an All-Star game MVP. Do you guys think Eric Staal belongs in the Hall of Fame?
I think that this one needs some very serious consideration, at least. I mean, like what you just said, he's won a Stanley Cup, he's won a gold medal. He's just kind of, you know, been around and done it all. In just seeing the way that he, you know, kind of just, it's not really kind of, he fully, you know, resurrected his career coming to Minnesota. I think that was one of the best things that ever happened to him, because he, you know, came to Minnesota and definitely turned things back around. And
well, he was like 34 years old, and he tied the Minnesota Wild franchise record for goals in this season. That's unheard of.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I think it was like, I think he scored like 42 or 43.
Tied it with Gabrick.
Yep.
And I was stunned, and you know, I had that hunch, and I knew it's just like, yeah, and I knew at that point maybe not like hockey in general Hall of Fame, but he'd definitely go down in Minnesota sports. You know, just think of the family name too, the Staal family name. You know, he's got 2 other brothers too that have had success in the NHL as well. So
well, he's also, you know, one of 29 members of the Triple Gold Club. You know, those are players who have won an Olympic gold, a World Championship gold, and a Stanley Cup gold. Only 29 people have done it all time. Eric Staal is one of them.
Yep, like I said, I think he definitely deserves notable consideration to, you know, have that Hall of Fame tag next to his name.
What do you got, Lake?
Man, I'm on the fence. And granted, I joined hockey incredibly late in my life. Like, I moved to Minnesota in 2016. I lived in Arkansas all my life prior to that. So I had no exposure to hockey really. So I don't know of you know, Eric Staal in his prime when he won his Stanley Cup, right? So as a recency bias, it's hard to say, like, I could see him as a Hall of Famer, but knowing what he actually has done, I think he has to be, but he'll be a first ballot.
Yeah, 100%. What do you think, Zooch? What's your opinion on that?
He's a Hall of Famer to me. There's a lot more players that are in the Hall of Fame that are worse than him, and this man had 28 points in a Stanley Cup run. Led his team to a Stanley Cup. Plus, he's got over 400 goals and over 1,000 points. It's no doubt to me.
You know what? I'm going to change my answer. I think he will be a first ballot, especially because he carried that Carolina franchise to, you know, prominence in its early life.
Yep.
100%. We're going to get into trivia here. So what we're going to do is we're going to let you guys go first. Our good old friend Boss Man is going to come in. He's going to ask a question about Minnesota Wild history. You guys will answer first, and then we'll answer next, right? We're going to first people. So if you get it right, you get a point. First team to 5 points wins. And of course, since you guys are the guest, we'll allow you to go first. Zooch and I have not seen these questions.
No.
Okay, we promise you guys, we're doing this legit. We did not see these questions. Yeah, we're good sports, so yeah, you're welcome. I'm just kidding. But Jack's gonna come in here. He's gonna ask you guys a question. You get 10 seconds to answer it. Whichever one of you guys wants to jump in. Gosh, look at him. Whichever one of you guys wants to jump in.
All right,
Go for it.
I just gotta give a disclaimer that these are sweatpants that are different color than the suit, but they look close enough, so it's not the suit.
They
the
look
joggers.
electric.
All right,
They do look electric.
you guys are gonna have to tell me what the answer.
Yes, we will tell
All
you.
right. For the first round, then someone do music. All right. Who was the Wild's first ever draft pick?
Class, do you know? I have no idea. It's not
think
Gabrick, is it?
it was Gabrick.
You guys are going.
Oh,
with
you're going
Gabrick.
Gabrick? We'll go Gabrick. We'll
It
go
was,
Gabrick.
it was Gabrick third overall in
correct.
2000.
That is correct. Congratulations, boys. You guys got the first point, but Zooch and I get a chance to tie it up right here.
Okay.
All right, actually.
Let's hear it.
Class, thanks for saving us
While
there.
we're on the subject
you.
of Gabrick, for 10,000 takes for the first round for a point, where is Marian Gabrick from originally?
He's from Slovakia.
That is correct.
Okay, there we go.
All right,
Thank you.
one to one. All right.
Thank you.
Way too quick.
Well,
At least sell it a bit.
when I was younger, I went to they had like at the XL, Team Slovakia came to play Team USA at the XL Energy Center. And,
No, for sure.
We were very, very lucky to get to watch them play, and Gabrick, of course, was on Team Slovakia.
Yeah, my grandma
Yeah,
bought me
for
a
sure.
Slovakia jersey when I was very young, so that's the only reason I know Gabrick's.
That would be an electric
All right.
pond hockey.
1-1, guys. Round. God, I should probably just get a chair. 1-1. Round 2, guys. This is for Gone Puck Wild. Who was the Wild's first ever head coach?
Oh, it's Jacques Lemaire, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is
Jacques Lemaire.
Yeah, you got that. Good
That's
job.
correct. 2-1.
2-1. Time for us to come back, Zooch.
Ooh. I don't like no.
10,000 takes. Round two to tie it up. Who scored the Wild's first ever goal?
It's either Darby Hendrickson or Marian Gabrick.
Marian Gabrick.
Marian Gabrick?
It's Marian Gabrick.
I should
think
have
it's
clarified
Wild's.
the question. That may be right or not, but I do need to clarify that it was at home. For
home,
first.
Darby Henderson was
Oh.
I worded the question
Marian
poorly
Gabrick.
wrong.
Marian Gabrick was the
Marian
first.
Oh
Gabrick.
my
I know
goodness,
both
this is
those
crazy.
cases,
Correct. All right.
Yeah.
The questions might not have been hard enough. 2-2.
Okay.
Come on,
Round
bro.
3 for Gone Puck Wild.
All right, round 3 for Gone Puck Wild. How long did O'Donnell remain the first captain? Yeah.
That's tough.
Oh.
Oh, it's only a couple games because Jacques Lemaire was always doing the
do
rotating.
you want
thing.
them to give a time? Like what time for
It's in a number of months.
okay,
That's a
so
hint.
so a number of months. So say the
You
amount
gonna
of
go
months.
1?
They said 1 month.
Yeah, I'll go with 1.
That is correct.
That was a
Oh,
thing.
nice.
That was a tough one.
I
Credit
was ready
to you
steal that
guys.
from you
Credit
guys.
to you guys.
Yeah, that's
Let's
what-
go,
That's what
class.
Lemaire used to do
Yep.
when he was the head
Yep.
coach. He would rotate the captains.
They rotated captains a lot.
What we got here?
Speaking of Mr. Lemaire, round 3 for 10,000 takes. How many Stanley Cups has Lemaire won in his time?
Oh, is a Montreal Canadian?
Okay, so you didn't win any at the Wild, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, you never.
This is overall.
Fuck, dude, the Canadians won so many. You're gonna say 2?
think it's
I
2.
feel like it's more, but I'm gonna. Zooch seems confident.
I think it's 2.
He's going with 2. I'm gonna go with him because he's so confident.
That is incorrect.
Oh, what was
The
it?
number is
Oh.
8.
8.
Oh, my 6 was wrong.
That's what's
on here.
See, this. No offense to Canadian
he the
fans,
head
but
coach for
they love to talk about.
Well, in the 70s, wasn't he a player for the
yeah,
Canadians?
That's where he won it.
The 70s was their dynasty.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I hate Canadian fans because they're always like, "We're the best team. We're the most Stanley Cups." Dude, you won all those cups with 6 teams. in the league.
Right. It was
They haven't won a cup since like the expansion teams.
Yes, so 3-2. If you guys get the next 2 questions right, you automatically win. So,
Oh, bummer.
hopefully you get one of these wrong.
All right, round 4 for Gone Puck Wild. What was the first number that the Wild ever retired as a jersey number?
Number
This
1.
is ridiculous. It's number 1 for the fans.
Got it.
Come
Yeah,
on.
One for the fans.
That is correct.
Yep.
They should
Hey, you guys
take
are-
it down.
you're
They
done.
should take it down and retire number 9 officially as the first Wild
Yeah,
number.
100% agree as well. He spent his whole career with us. So if we get this one wrong, 10,000 takes officially loses. So hopefully we can stay alive.
Well, they gotta clinch it.
Who was the first Wild player to win a skills competition?
Oh.
I feel like we're getting the hard ones. I don't know.
It's not us. It's not us, Brandon. We don't need to help them.
I know, I'm still thinking about it, though.
Do we get a hint of the games at least of what year
I'm
it
gonna
was?
go. It had to have been Marion.
Give it to them. Give it to them. Let this game go as far as it can.
We're gonna go with Gavrik. I guess that's gonna Gavrik final answer. Let's see.
Gabrick. It had to have been Gabrick.
That is not incorrect. Yeah, no, yeah, you guys got it correct. Sorry.
Okay, there.
Okay.
All right,
It had
round
to be.
5.
There's no other players.
Gone Puck Wild. This is your opportunity to win it. Are you guys ready? I can't
Absolutely.
hear. Yeah.
They are ready. He's searching. It looks like he's gonna give you guys a hard one.
Oh no.
He is really digging one to send this to OT.
He's still
Yeah.
scrolling. He's still. I think we have like a file. Of
I think
this
Digging
one's
one,
on-
isn't it?
How many games has Westwald covered as a color commentator?
How many games did Wes Walls play as a member of the Boston Bruins or something dumb like
Oh
that?
man.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, okay, here it is.
All right, boys, this is for the win. Who leads the Wild in assists of all time?
Oh my gosh. That's a question.
Oh,
Koivu's the total points leader, so it kind of makes sense if it was him. Because he didn't score many goals.
I want to say
Your call. Your call.
I want to say Koivu, but I want to say
I think we're on our time limit.
5, 4. Let's hear your final answer. 3, 2.
Koivu.
Koivu.
Fine.
Koivu.
That's it. And congratulations, Gone Puck Wild. You guys
Oh
are
my
superior
goodness.
at Wild Trivia. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate everyone out there watching. To donate to the stream, all of the proceeds are going to go to the Groveland Emergency Food Shelf. Go to www.10,000takesmn.com/SotaStream. Any single penny you donate will really help. We've already raised over $200 in the first night, which is absolutely amazing. You wanna go do Soda Stick?
You Soda Stick?
Do Soda Stick.
All right. So at Soda Stick, you can use promo code SODA
Stream.
Stream.
There you go. Soda
for
Stream.
free shipping on
any
your
purchase.
orders.
Yep, and then of course, if you go to our website and where you're watching the stream, you can also look at our total sports auction. We have everything from a Miracle on Ice signed jersey, a Fran Tarkinen signed helmet, a Mike Tyson signed poster. I mean, there's so many amazing things. Go there, bid on the items. All the proceeds will go to Groveland Food Bank. Gone Puck Wild. You want to say your Twitter name? Do you guys want to say where you can find yourselves at?
So you can find the Gone Puck Wild account at FSG Gone Puck Wild. You can find me at Small Body O Water. And Quaster, you want to drop yours?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at RinkRatBQ.
Ooh, I like that. Thanks so much for joining, guys, and hopefully we'll talk to you in the future.
Thanks for having us.